What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are here with another episode of Lions Latest, where we go through the latest Detroit Lions news. And today, the Lions have added a couple of players at a position that we kind of expected. That's the kicker position, like we talked about yesterday. So we're going to talk about those additions. Plus, they waived a couple of players as well. So let's get it started.
The city's been down, and it found a way to get up. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. We're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
And welcome, everybody, to our video. Glad you guys are here. This will probably be the shortest Lions video we've done in a while because the news is about kickers. And look, I love the kicker position, all right? It's super important. It's actually, I think, very underrated how important this position is. It will win and lose games for you. And we saw that last week in our case. It will tie games for you, I guess, if you miss your kicks. So, yeah, this is an important position. But it's not like one of those positions where I like pull up the film like, oh, snap, hey, look at this on film. Nah, it's like, it's more statistical. Now, I try to watch some of their kicks. You know, I didn't watch them all. Like, I ain't crazy.
Are you sure about that?
Watch some of their kicks to get some notes from it. All right. My expertise on the kicking position that I don't have whatsoever. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Tomorrow we'll be back with the film. We'll talk about this offense a little bit. I'm not sure how it's going to go exactly. It's not completely ready with my notes for a video that I'm probably going to do tomorrow. Or maybe we'll do the live stream. We usually do the live stream, so we may do that as well. We'll see how tomorrow goes. But we have some Lions news. So let's start there. Let's start with the players that the Lions waived, starting with Geronimo Allison, who was on the 53-man roster. He has been waived from the 53-man roster, so he'll go through waivers. And yeah, there's a possibility that he could land back on the practice squad. We know Tom Kennedy is on the practice squad as well. I wouldn't say this is a huge surprise because we didn't play him really at all last week. We had really Benson, Khalif Raymond, and St. Brown as the top guys. We still do have a guy like Kadero Hodge. Plus, according to Dan Campbell, Josh Randles is going to be up this week against the Cleveland Browns. So there's really no need to have him on the 53-man roster. I mean, this one's not a big surprise that he has been waived, but they had to do this to clear space for the kicker that they added to the 53-man roster. They added 2 kickers today, one to the active roster, the other one to the practice squad. And I believe the reason they had to add one of them to the active roster is because he was already on a practice squad. You can't take a guy from a practice squad, just add him to your practice squad. You have to sign him to your 53-man roster if you're going to take him off of somebody else's practice squad. So that's why they had to create space, and they did that with Geronimo Allison. They also waived kicker Ryan Santoso. Now, Ryan Santoso was not on the 53-man roster. He was on the practice squad. So they cleared a space on the practice squad, which they filled out by another kicker. They brought 2 kickers in today to compete, to battle for this spot. Now, why is this all happening? Well, Austin Seibert dealt with an injury, right hip injury. He did not play this past week coming off an Eagles game where he did miss a kick. He's 10 for 12 on this season, which is pretty solid. We've seen Santoso a little bit this season. He made his 1 field goal against the Baltimore Ravens, which could have been a game winner, but we haven't really asked him to kick much outside of extra points. However, in this past game, which the weather conditions were not great, we saw Boswell, however, make his kicks, and our kicker missed an extra point. Then he came back and followed it up with a miss in overtime, which was under 50 yards. It was like 46 yards, and I know it was set up a little bit worse because we had the holding call on TJ Hockenson, which backed us up, which would have been probably like a 40-yard field goal if that wasn't the case. But either way, he missed both of those field goals, and I can show you the clip of him missing it. Like, he kind of hobbles a little bit afterwards. I don't know if he got hurt or he stubbed his toe or he slipped or whatever happened here, or he's just doing that because he missed it. I don't know. Either way, Dan Campbell is not happy, and he shouldn't be happy. All right, this was your chance to get your first win. You literally had it in the palm of your hands. Usually it's the other way around where we have the game and the other team lines up and makes it a long field goal. And it's a little bit like, dang, if you would have just missed that one. This one we had right there. And of course, the game that we don't have our kicker, it's the one that we need the kicker to make the field goal. And this was kind of our fill-in for that time, at least we thought it was going to be, but he missed it, right? So I understand why Campbell's frustrated, why he's like, yeah, I'm not going to waste any time. While doing that, he also released Ryan Santoso. So he didn't even keep him around for competition. He's seen enough. All right, so we brought in 2 new kickers today, and let's talk about those 2 kickers a little bit, who the Lions brought in. All right, the first one that I want to discuss is the one that we have added to the practice squad. He has recently been let go by the New Orleans Saints. That's his last spot. And that kicker is Aldrich Rosas. Now, Rosas is a very interesting path to the NFL. He played at a NAI school in college, Southern Oregon. He actually won a championship there. It's like Rosas said, in the NAI are not really anticipating, no one in that locker room is anticipating to make an NFL roster. So for him, it was a dream come true to get an opportunity with the New York Giants. I believe he signed with agent that worked with Steve Smith Sr. as well. Now, I think back in college, he actually tore his ACL tackling a player that he said he didn't need to. It was a blowout. And because of that, he tore his ACL. NFL, he got his opportunity with the New York Giants. Now, it wasn't like he was invited to any pro days or anything like that. So they actually had to make a video of him kicking. But in the NFL, he had an opportunity with the New York Giants. That's where he started, and he won his battle against veteran kicker Nugent, who they ended up cutting out of preseason. He had a really good preseason, but it was really good competition as well from Nugent. On his first season in 2017, he went 18 for 25, 20 for 23 on extra points. But it was the next year where he was incredible. 32 for 33 on the season kicking field goals. 32 for 33. I believe his field goal long that year was also 57. I know he had a game winner against the Chicago Bears. I believe he also had a game winner against the Chiefs, which I think actually came in the preseason. But he had a 57-yard long field goal, which tied the franchise record, which came before half. He was incredible. He made the Pro Bowl team. He was a second-team All-Pro that year, first-team All-Pro from people like PFF and PFW. I'm not sure who was first-team All-Pro in that season, but whoever it was, he probably was very deserving of that award as well if he would have gotten it. But either way, it was an incredible 2018 season. Now, 2019 wasn't as great. He followed up with 12 for 17, 35 for 39 on extra points. Definitely not as great. By the way, that 2018 season, the only missed extra point he had was a bad snap. So he was great that year. But that's kind of the thing with kicking, is there's always so many elements that go into it. Weather, wind, things like that. Bad snap, bad hold. There's so many little elements that can go into it. So when you look at statistics, it's kind of tough, but at the same time, it's also kind of what you just look at when you talk about kickers. But 2020 is where things kind of got weird. In that 2020 offseason, he ended up being cut by the Giants. The plan was to bring him back, but he was arrested that offseason for a hit and run at a high speed. Go by the Giants. He was picked up by the Jacksonville Jaguars later that season, where he went 8 for 11 and 9 for 9 on extra points with a 54-yard long kick. Plus recently, he's been with, like I said, the New Orleans Saints, where he has been recently released by the Saints. Their starting kicker was out, so he was kind of the guy that was supposed to fill in. Now, it's not like they've been asking him to make like the easy field goals. Like, a lot of the field goal attempts have been very long, and one was 58 yards, but he's only 1 for 4 on this season so far, 13 for 13 on all of his extra points. So at least he made all of those, because Santoso missed one last week. But he's had a little rough kicking field goals so far this season, 1 for 4. But again, they've been long field goals. The only kick he's made this season has been from 44 yards for the New Orleans Saints. So they have let him go, and now here he is with the Lions. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to break down, like the film of this kicker, but I can tell you this from watching it, okay, the clips that I did watch, he seems like he's got a pretty big leg, all right? That's one thing that stuck out. He's a pretty emotional player. You can tell it really hurts him when they miss. Obviously, chasing a guy down when the game is a blowout and you get a torn ACL because you made the tackle probably shows you got a lot of heart. So he's got a lot of heart. I can tell that just from watching him kick. He's got a pretty big leg. It looks like he kind of like scoots or gallops into his kicks in line form when he kicks it, but he definitely has a leg. He's done kickoff responsibilities as well. This season, 83% of his kickoffs has led to touchbacks. It's a little over 60% for his career. And he's also at one point had some punting responsibilities. So he's kind of a guy that can do whatever you ask of him. He kicks his extra points right down the middle. He likes it right down the middle. On his career, he's 10 for 16 on 50 plus, which isn't that bad if you ask me, but it's the 40 to 49 range where he's 12 for 21, which isn't that great. So that's a little concerning, but 10 for 16 isn't that bad. And again, 2 of those misses are this year. One's from 58 yards. So up to that point, he was 10 for 14. So he definitely can kick the long ball. That's for sure. It seems like when he misses the long ball, it's because he hooks it the way he's trying to kick it, because he tries to really put a lot into it. He has been added to the practice squad because he was a free agent. The other kicker has been signed to the 53-man roster because he was on the Patriots practice squad. I believe they're right now rocking with Folk. I know they also had Quinn Nordine. We didn't get to see him in the preseason. He was initially picked up by the Minnesota Vikings, let go as a UDFA from Memphis, spent time with the Patriots. He was on their practice squad, and now here he is with the Detroit Lions. He's been signed to the 53-man roster because he was on a practice squad. I believe the Lions had to do that. He hasn't played in the NFL. And one thing that we know is, statistically, it doesn't always carry over from college to the NFL. Good college kickers can have like 4 or 5 misses and do well in the NFL. So it's really kind of tough to judge and compare. In college, he had a really good 2019 season. He was 23 for 25, 65 for 66 on extra points. This is a lot of extra points. But 2020 was a little bit rougher. 15 of 22, and he was 36 for 37 on extra points. I know he made a lot of extra points in his college career. If you look at it, 76 for 79 in 2018. Made a lot of extra points. He had a huge consecutive streak going at Memphis. He kicks a little bit different when you watch him. He's a little bit smaller, but he's pretty athletic, so he can help out run things down if he needs to. Not the biggest leg, For example, on kickoffs at least, he doesn't really get a lot of touchbacks. He only had one that went through the end zone in his entire college football career. But what you do like is that he's got a pretty compact kick. It's very quick motion. He doesn't have this long follow through, which I guess kind of stinks because then he won't get like the roughing the kicker calls. But it's a very quick, compact kick, and it seems to consistently go end over end. You don't see a lot of side to side, which you saw a little bit more, I think, from Rosas, at least from what I watched. But again, he's only played in college. He's only 22 years old. Rosas is 26, and we haven't seen him in the NFL make any kicks, so I'm not sure where he's at. That'll be something the Lions have to judge. At least they brought in 2 kickers to compete. I like that better than bringing in 1. But I wouldn't say because he's on the 53, he's going to be the guy. I think it's just because he was on the practice squad, he had to be brought into 53. I like the fact they brought in more than 1. I wouldn't have brought in just 1 kicker and been like, all right, you're our guy. Nah, I think you need competition there. A little bit surprised maybe that they cut Santoso, but at the same time, not surprised because Dan Campbell was clearly not happy with it. As also noted that Riley Patterson has had some issues kicking in the wind. I know he was invited to the Senior Bowl. I believe he was named the top specialist at the Senior Bowl. Longest field goal kick is 56 yards. On his career is 64 for 83 kicking field goals. Looking at free agent kickers right now, there's really not a ton of great options out there. I'm going to be honest. I know Zane Gonzalez has been doing his thing, of course, since we've cut him, but the free agent class wasn't that great. Remember, coming in this year, we cut both of our kickers. We end up getting Seibert, who I think will be the guy once he gets back, assuming he comes back after the next 2 weeks. I mean, he's got at least 2 weeks left. He'll be more serious than that. I don't know how bad it is. I assume he'll be the guy when he comes back. Both of these kickers are right-footed kickers, so I just thought I would point that out. Who do I think wins the role? I kind of feel like the young dude might get it, but I feel like the Lions might lead towards a vet that's trying to, get back out there and prove himself, a guy that's, had a really good year in the NFL. They might lean with a vet, but it wouldn't shock me if the young dude made it because he seems to have a very consistent form. And the Lions, Dave Fitt might have something to work with there. Don Muhlbach, of course, working with coaching now. So we'll see how it goes, but at least the Lions brought in some competition. That is your latest Lions news. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about some film, probably talk about the offense, some good things I saw from the defense. Will Harris, who may have played a really good game. A lot of things we'll have to dive into, but we'll do that tomorrow. I just don't have all my notes and stuff that I want prepared to do a video today. I don't want just like a, video that's just like thrown together. I want something good. You know how we do. So let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.